What's up, y'all? It's Josh back here from Inside Wrestling Truth. Back with a video today. It's been a long time since I dropped a video. With football season over and everything. Not much for me to talk about, really. Um, but bringing you a video today. We're talking wrestling. Don't do a whole lot of wrestling videos anymore. Because quite frankly, I'm not really interested. Um, with today's product. I'm an old school wrestling fan. Um, but we're under a week away from WrestleMania. In my video today, just going to talk about the Hall of Fame coming up this year's class. My thoughts, my opinions on it. Just going to talk about some of the people that are going in. We're not going to talk about everybody. So, if you clicked on this video to talk Kid Rock, if you clicked on this video to talk about the Warrior Award, if you clicked on this video to talk about Ivory, you probably don't want to watch this because I won't be discussing um, any of those inductees. Uh, you know, Not a big fan of Celebrity Wing. Don't give two fucks about Ivory going in the Hall of Fame. I'm glad what they do with the Warrior Award though. Think it's cool for real. But let's talk about some of the people going in this year. Um, we'll start off with Mark Henry. Um, Mark Henry was the last inductee into to be named to be released. Mark Henry was with the WWE forever, man. At least 2 decades. I remember when he started. When I was a teenager. Nah, man, I wasn't even a teenager. I was a kid, and he did the World's Strongest Man, um, Olympia gimmick. He actually, the first time I saw him, he interfered in a Jake Roberts, Jerry Lawler angle. But, he would do the Nation, the Domination during the Attitude Era. And then he would come here to Louisville and work in the OVW for a while. That's where I met Mark Henry, was at OVW. He was always a cool dude, worked hard, wasn't the best in the ring, uh, made you believe he was a badass. My favorite time of Mark Henry's career was, when he feuded with Undertaker, was at WrestleMania 22 during that time. Um, do I think it was way too early for Mark Henry to go in the Hall of Fame? Well, of course, especially with the names that are out there still that aren't going in this year. Definitely way too soon. But I'm glad Mark Henry's going in. Good for him. Uh, Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry Nation, Hall of Pain, whatever you know him as. He was a former World Heavyweight Champion. He was the ECW later on, the later ECW champion. But good for Mark Henry going in the WWE Hall of Fame. I just felt like, me personally, thought that it was way too soon for him to go in. But we all know it's all politics, and he's deserving of a Hall of Fame spot. Definitely. Um, Up next, Hillbilly Jim. Hillbilly Jim going in the WWE Hall of Fame. He's what I would like to call a WWF wrestler. That's when I was a fan of the product when they were the WWF. Man, Hillbilly Jim, one of the first action figures I ever owned. Hillbilly Jim was around for the golden era of the WrestleMania boom. Of course, he got injured early on in his career, which slowed him down. Um, he did some tagging with Hogan, but he would work with the company forever. He would do like the Coliseum home videos. He did Legends House. But he's finally going in the Hall of Fame. Um, do I feel like he's deserving? He wasn't a what you would call a wrestler. He was a sports entertainer. Hillbilly Jim's a good dude. He's from right here in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad he's going in. Me personally, I'm a fan when I see any of the golden era WWF guys go in because I feel like that group really put wrestling on the map. That's just my opinion, though. My opinion don't mean shit. That's just my feelings. But I know me. I know a lot of other people already thought dude was in the Hall of Fame. I seen on online they had, but good for Hillbilly Jim to finally get in. Nice as can be. I met Hillbilly Jim. Was it January or February? Nice as could be. Glad he's going in. Happy to see him going in. Goldberg. Bill Goldberg. Of course, he was the first name released for the WWE Hall of Fame. Goldberg, with me, I was a fan of him in WCW. I thought those couple years in WCW had a killer run. He was really only one of the only few stars that WCW made. Um, if you know what I mean, where I'm going with that. Uh, but his WWE work just sucked. I wasn't a fan of none of it in the early 2000s, or even was it last year, year before? I wasn't a fan of that shit either. Uh, you know, like I said, I like Goldberg's style and what he was doing in WCW. But when he got to WWE, I just felt like he was boring and uninteresting. I just didn't give a fuck, man. It just like when he was in WWE, I thought it was cool when he first jumped. She came over, whatever. Uh, but then he just got, to me, he got stale. He got boring. And then when he came back this last time, he was just so unbelievable. Like, it just looked so cartoony. There wasn't nothing. I wasn't believing nothing that was coming out of his mouth. He wasn't selling me a ticket. And I just felt like he was boring. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, definitely a Hall of Famer. Uh, I guess if you go based off his WCW work, yeah, I guess he's a Hall of Famer. But WWE work, nah. But another guy from the 90s going in, Bill Goldberg going in the Hall of Fame. Really don't have much to say about it. Don't care if he goes in. Really wasn't a big deal to me when they said he was going in. Um, this year's Hall of Fame class it just there's not a lot there that just gets me to want to watch it that I care about. But the next team I was a big fan of coming up, the Dudley Boys. I'm glad they're going in the WWE Hall of Fame. They did a lot in the WWE. Of course, I'm from that generation that watched them in ECW when they were tearing up shit. They were uncut, unedited. Back in ECW, did whatever the fuck they wanted. Bubba, Devon, definitely glad they're going in the Hall of Fame. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. They could have fit in any era, and they could have worked with any team of any era. They weren't just hardcore dudes, put people through tables. They could actually work, and they're a really good tag team. And Bubba has a really, good mind for the business. But glad the Dudley Boys are going in. I'm still that dude that's waiting for demolition. I know with the lawsuit or whatever, that's not likely. But the Dudley Boys are going in the Hall of Fame this year. I'm glad to see them going in. Uh, Jeff Jarrett. Now, this was, of course, the head scratcher, the talk of the world there for a few weeks. Jeff Jarrett going in the WWE Hall of Fame. Uh, I'm glad he's going in. Me personally was never like a huge Jeff Jarrett mark, like most people, like a lot of people are from the area that I live in. I thought he was a good wrestler. I just never thought he was going to be that guy that was going to draw big time money, or a guy you could put the world title on and run with him and be successful. I never thought he was one of them, but I thought he was a solid worker. Had a lot of great. He even had some great matches. But to see him, in the WWE. It's like they do this year in and year out now, where they're squashing beef and they're putting people in the Hall of Fame that you never thought you'd see. And this year it's Jeff Jarrett. But I think he's deserving to go in the Hall of Fame. He did a lot of shit in the business. Whether, like, when I first started watching him, he was in USWA here in Louisville, Memphis area. But he did the Double J gimmick in WWF. He did the WCW deal, Slap Nuts. And, of course, we all know what he did with TNA. We all know the Jarrett family in this area is legendary. So congratulations to Jeff Jarrett on making the WWE Hall of Fame. But yeah, those are pretty much the guys to talk about when it comes to this year's Hall of Fame. Not a lot there for me to be excited about. I mean, there's a few guys. Like, I like to see the Dudleys go in. Hillbilly, I like to see him go in. It'd be interesting to watch Jeff Jarrett, but Mark Henry, Goldberg, Kid Rock, Ivory, I just don't care. I'm just interested. I really thought this was the year they were going to put Bigelow in. A lot of people are saying, I believe I heard that WrestleMania is in New Jersey either next year or the year after. I don't know. I ain't up on my shit like that. They said they might put him in then. They didn't put any deceased wrestlers in the Hall of Fame this year, though. But it is what it is. I will watch it because it's old school. It's what I call WWF, NWA, WCW wrestling, and even some ECW. It's over the years I just kind of fell away from the product. So I just can't get into it. It's just a whole different business. It's so scripted. It's just boring to me, man. The guys have incredible talent that are in the ring. Don't get me wrong, they're great athletes. But the magic's gone from the business. That's why you don't see me on here making a lot of wrestling videos, because I just don't care. I mean, I always will watch, WrestleMania weekend. I'll always watch, but just as a dedicated fan, in week in out, I stick to the independents. I just will. But I am going to SmackDown. SmackDown Live will be here in April 24th. I'm going to go check that out. And April 21st, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Heroes and Legends 10. This will be my 6th Heroes and Legends show. This one won't be disappointing either. They got Mark Henry on the card, Mean Gene, Coco Beware, Akeem and One Man Gang, who never come through this way, Bob Orton. Sorry, guys. They got a ton of people, Heroes and Legends. But, yeah, if you're in this area, go check it out. I'll definitely be there. I just want to make this short wrestling video. Well, it ain't short. It's almost fucking 15 minutes long. On the Hall of Fame this year. I'll probably drop a video after WrestleMania. But y'all be good to each other, man. I'm out. Peace.